Hello, my name is Zerzu Cyclin, and welcome to my channel. How's everybody doing today? You guys might have remembered just before the January 6th protest, there was a person who delivered two pipe bombs in D.C., one at the RNC and one at the DNC. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out because there was supposed to be a press conference. I'm trying to figure out what's happening with that because it looks like on 4 different networks it's failed, and I'm seeing if this one is going to still cover it. Today, I believe it was today. Yeah, December 4th, 2025, we have captured a suspect in the DC bombing. And that's good news. Now, apparently, it had been reported for a very long time that it was a woman. I guess I forget exactly. I think it was Blaze was one of the first publications, and most of the American right-wing uh, news organizations said it was most certainly a woman because of the gait and the clothing style. The shoes they mentioned were women's shoes, and there was a lot of speculation. Now, that's a bad thing. That's one of the bad things about internet web detectives. They're not often right. So I have a video from the FBI, which is going to kind of give a little bit of a refresher on what's happened. But I'll go ahead and the suspect in the January 6th DC pipe bombing case has been identified as Brian Cole. I'm still trying to see if this press conference is going to go. I don't think it's going to go. I'm just going to ignore it. Anyway, so we'll ignore that for a while. Anyway, Brian Cole was a resident of Woodbridge, Virginia, and was arrested by the FBI on December 2025 today, nearly 5 years after the investigation. Now, the key details here: on January 5th, 2021, the night before the Capitol riot, 2 pipe bombs were planted outside the Democratic and Republican, the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in D.C. The pipe bombs were found on January 6, 2021, the same day rioters stormed the Capitol. Both devices were live and potentially lethal, but they didn't detonate. The case remained unsolved for almost 5 years, despite the FBI investigation, surveillance footage, public appeals to $500,000 reward for information. Now, there was a breakthrough in the case, let's see, which ended up in an arrest on December 4th, 2025, of Brian Cole of North Virginia. As far as charges, I have no clue. I haven't found anything, and I believe that the FBI hasn't mentioned what charges are going to be charged. Now, why all this matters? The pipe bombs were the most serious threat in January 6th. And the arrest is of one of the most basically longest running mysteries of the Capitol riot of January 6th. Now, the bombs were strategically placed near major political party headquarters, suggesting an attempt to disrupt or intimidate across the political spectrum. Now, that's what I believe the person was trying to do. I think they were trying to hold somewhat of a personal coup. By the way, hello, Nightwolf. Hello, Sirloin. I guess the conference is starting here, so we will pop over to that instead of the video I was going to do. We'll maybe run the video after that. I just noticed it came up. Happy and live. Let's see if I can find it on my favorite site. No, I guess it went down there. Somebody must have dropped the ball. Everybody looks to be seated. This might be running good. Let's go ahead and pop this up. Share screen. Audio included. We'll go ahead and pull this up while we wait for them to come up to the pedestal. I don't normally watch on this network. I typically use a more streamlined. I don't like all the banner crap on the bottom.
2-minute heads up, guys.
Oh, great. He said minute, and we're not sure how many. Because he didn't turn on the mic till after he stepped up. I'm not exactly sure how long we got. A couple of minutes is probably what he said. Well, I guess I could start in on this here. Let's watch some of the video that I have available that the FBI has released. Oh, never mind. Here they come. And I will just let this run as much as it can.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. As you all know now, early this morning, Brian Cole Jr. was arrested and charged with placing the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021. He has been charged with violating 18 USC 844, which is use of an explosive device. This investigation is ongoing. As we speak, search warrants are being executed, and there could be more charges to come. I'm going to let our U.S. Attorney discuss that shortly. This
Hello,
was the
Nicody.
work of multiple agencies working together. This morning's operation was carried out safely and successfully. We know that there are so many issues when you're issuing search warrants. Dangerous things can happen, and this was carried out safely and securely thanks to all of the people standing around me. They have worked tirelessly on this. Today's arrest happened because the Trump administration has made this case a priority. The total lack of movement on this case in our nation's capital undermined the public trust of our enforcement agencies. This cold case languished for 4 years until Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino came to the FBI. The FBI, along with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our prosecutors, have worked tirelessly for months, sifting through evidence that had been sitting at the FBI with the Biden administration for 4 long years. Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team along with ATF, Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and of course, the FBI. We are working every day.
Yada. It took them 4 years to solve the case. It could have been solved under any administration.
Towards that progress. We'll share more information when we can and when it unfolds. I cannot stress enough how hard Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino have worked for months to make our nation's capital safer and to make our country safer. I'd like to introduce now Director Patel.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that we will always refute it and combat it. We will provide the safest country the nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here. And that's what we did here today with great resolve on a case of massive public importance, as it should be. An individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the Deputy Director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal process with our U.S. attorney partners, and came to this conclusion today. And that is why we were able to safely secure this individual into custody. Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement and our prosecutors to be put in jeopardy. This execution was flawless in terms of teamwork, resilience, and just a good old-fashioned way of police getting the job done. When you let good cops be cops, this is what happens. I'm eternally grateful to the team behind me, to the leadership at the FBI who made this possible. But I do want to highlight, when I introduced the deputy, he made this case and so many others, including Summer Heat, his priority to come in here and solve it for the American people. And today, I'm proud to stand here before you and say, we solved it. He will have his day in court. The American public and the world will learn even more information through the legal process, as we have committed under this Attorney General. We are the most transparent law enforcement operation in U.S. history, but we are also going to make sure accountability is delivered to its fullest extent. And that happens in the courts of law with our U.S. attorneys and our prosecutors. So we will divulge information when it is prudent and constitutionally permissible, while upholding the safeguards of this case to make sure that the people that this individual intended to victimize get the accountability they deserve, and most importantly, to deliver on President Trump's promise to secure our nation's capital and the rest of the cities in this country, to make sure that Americans are allowed to go out free and securely in their neighborhoods, and that people around the world are allowed to visit our nation's capital. And they now have that trust, thanks to the leadership of the FBI, the Washington
Nobody
field
wants
office.
to visit the Capitol with all those
introduce you Deputy
guardsmen
Director
walking
Bongino, who
around
spearheaded this
with
investigation.
rifles picking up garbage.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, Attorney General and Director. I appreciate it. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on
fuck
other
yourself,
extraneous
dude.
things not
Listen,
related to
man.
law enforcement.
This is one
This is what
thing I
happens.
find
We had a great
horrible
team.
about
I know it's
Republicans.
said a lot in
They're
this
turning
business. It
this
was a team effort. It
absolutely
becomes
into
cliche,
a
but
political.
cliches
Look,
are
man,
useful
the
for a
other
reason
guy
because they
didn't
matter.
do
This was a team
anything to
effort.
try to catch this guy.
The
We
director and the
caught
attorney
him
general
because
emphasized that
we
it was
were
not a
diligent.
new public tip this came from.
You
This
don't
was
think that
our
they were
internal
trying to
work with the
catch this
FBI.
person under the Biden
And I want
administration?
to
At this
just
point, I don't really give a
really
fuck what
express
this
my
guy's
sincere
saying. It's
gratitude
all
to this
bullshit.
attorney
I'm
general
so sick
and
of
this
hearing
president for
damn.
allowing us the latitude. I
Look,
spoke
Donald
with Ms.
Trump is
Bondi
president of
very
the United
early,
States.
maybe
Joe
day
Biden
2,
is no longer
and I
president
said,
of the
we're going to
United
get this
States.
guy. And she said, yes, you
Dude,
are.
drop it. Who
And we did.
cares about
I want
Biden
also thank, he's
anymore?
not here, but
Move
Deputy Attorney
the
General
fuck
Todd Blanche,
on.
who we deal with often as well, who could not have been more supportive. Whatever process we need,
If
Judge
it wasn't
Jeanine,
solved under Donald
Todd,
Trump, it
and
would have been
and Attorney
solved
General
under
Bondi,
another
they were there.
presidency.
All you had to do, they were a phone call away.
Hopefully, I mean,
And
I
their
think
team
that's
was
the
amazing.
idea
We
of the
actually never had to make
FBI,
that
is
phone
it
call
not,
because
Jack
they were
Wagon?
always responsive. Thank you, Judge, as well. You were amazing. Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen. We were going to track this person to the end of the
Really,
earth.
it never was
There was
before.
no
It
way he was
never
getting away.
was. I mean, a
Well, we didn't have to
president
track him to the
may
end of the earth. He wound
mention
up in
his
Woodbridge,
predecessor a
Virginia.
couple of
I want
times.
to thank the
Go
team.
back and look
They were
at
amazing. They never let this go.
Biden
Again,
mentioned Trump a
Attorney General
lot.
Bondi, for
So
your
we'll start
incredible
with
support.
Obama and then
Director
run
Patel,
back and see how
Judge,
many times
I
they
know they're
mentioned their
giving me a lot of
predecessors
unnecessary
a
credit,
year
but
into
make
their
no mistake,
presidency,
they were
2
intimately
years
involved in
into their
this and were there
presidency.
for all of those
I
supporting
guarantee it will
mechanisms.
be 3 years
And,
into
I
his
deeply appreciate
presidency
it.
and
The
4
man whose
years
team
into
did the
his
work is the
presidency.
assistant director in charge of our Washington field office,
And
Darren
as far as
Cox.
those
Darren's got
damn
some comments, and
Republicans that sit
Darren
out there,
has
and
some,
you'll never call
more
out the
details
other
on the case he
side.
can
You won't
provide.
call
So
them out
thank
at
you all
all.
for coming. We appreciate it.
Let me explain to you this. If Bill
Hi, good
Clinton
afternoon. I'm
is
Darren
not
Cox. I'm
in
the
the
Assistant
Epstein
Director in
files,
charge of the Washington
I
Field
would be
Office.
absolutely
Today's arrest
flabbergasted.
of the alleged DC pipe bomber is a momentous day for the American public, for the FBI, for our Joint Terrorism Task Force, or the JTTF, and our partners, the U.S. Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and ATF. We've also had a large number of other federal, state, and local departments that have worked on this investigation. And last but not least, the U.S. Attorney's Office. We all worked hand in hand to solve this investigation. This has been a long week in DC. After the terrorist attack last week, the grit and determination of the FBI and our law enforcement partners is an example to the American public of what cooperation, partnership, and selfless service can accomplish. The amount of effort the FBI and our partners devoted to identifying the pipe bomber cannot be overstated. It is the resolve and
Tom was
determination
unable to find
of
my
our
show. I guess they
investigators that
didn't give him a
ultimately led to
notification.
the identification and the arrest of this suspect. We all know pipe bombs are dangerous, not because of the potential loss of life, damage to property, or injury that they can cause, but also because they are tools that terrorize our community. Fortunately, these bombs did not explode, although they
Thank
certainly could have.
God.
But make no mistake, the alleged pipe bomber did terrorize our community. Today's actions underscore the long memory and the long reach of the FBI and our partners. I know some people had given up on finding the perpetrator, but not the FBI and not our partners. We do not forget, we do not give up, and we do not relent. Though it had been nearly 5 years, our team.
Wait a minute. That's not what was just suggested. What was just suggested was that 4 years of the prior presidency, they just gave up. They just relented. How many years have you worked for the FBI? I wonder how many years this guy. I guarantee he was probably working under the other administration. Then again, I don't know, because everybody's been moved out pretty much.
Continued to churn through massive amounts of data and tips that we used to identify this suspect. I want to
The
thank
weather's
Director
been horrible.
Patel
I haven't tested the
and
bike.
Deputy Director Bongino for their leadership and for providing us the resources and the personnel to reevaluate all of the data that we had. We dove into more than 3 million lines of data to come up with this suspect. Director Patel, Deputy Director Bongino, thank you for your support. Thank you for your passion. And thank you for your investment in this investigation. From me, on behalf of the investigators, the Washington Field Office, and all of our partners, thank you. I'd also like to thank Judge Pirro. Judge, your team and you are absolutely amazing. You're the type of prosecutors and U.S. attorney, that all of the investigators across the country want to work with. They're hard-nosed and they're aggressive. And thank you for that. I'd also like to thank the American public for providing tips and leads, not just on this case, but every day on cases across the country that are being solved by law enforcement. And finally, I want to commend all of the members of the Washington Field Office, and most specifically, the investigative team. Their diligence and persistence led to this arrest today. And they are absolutely, totally dedicated, not only to this case, but every case they work. So thank you, Washington Field Office. Last, I will say our work is not done. The FBI will continue to pursue every lead,
Okay,
and use
well,
every
there's not
resource
that
that we
bad.
have to ensure that the DC pipe bomber is brought to justice. Thank you.
You keep hearing the words partnership
Judge Pierre has
and
been
team,
around. I mean,
and that's what we are.
I
And
don't
we
know. She's
could
been
not
through
do this
multiple
without our U.S.
presidencies.
Attorney, Janine Pirro.
2012 was when
Janine,
she
from day one, has worked tirelessly for our country and for our nation's capital. It's my honor to introduce my friend, U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro.
Thank you very much, Attorney General. And you have been listening to a lot of thank yous and a lot of gratitude. The reason that we're thanking each other to the extent that we are today is because we have seen in this case an incredible collaboration around the clock, in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter. We call each other, we make contact, they need a warrant, they need something, someone wants legal advice. These are the men and women who never give it up. You hear about government employees, but I don't know if you really realize what it is that they do. They are incredible. And this case is big. 4 years, 10 months, and 28 days ago, an individual placed a bomb in the vicinity of both the RNC and the DNC. And for that amount of time, that individual evaded accountability. Today, as a result of the cumulative efforts of the men and women in the FBI and the police department and the Department of Justice, we are finally able to make an arrest of an individual by the name of Brian Cole. As the Attorney General has indicated, he is arrested for transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce, as well as the attempted malicious destruction by means of explosive materials. You know, folks, this case involved millions of pieces of data. And it is a huge win because it was like finding a needle in a haystack. So much of this evidence was very specific, but a lot of it was also very general. For example, there were 233,000 black end caps of the type that were used in this case. I want you to think about the fact that the FBI had to go through the sale of every one of them to try to find commonality with an individual, along with the purchase of the pipe itself, the cap ends, the wires, the steel, and the 9-volt batteries. Every one of those had to be mined and remined to the point where we were able to then connect. And make no mistake, it was this administration, it was this president who made the decision that we were going to use all of our efforts to get it done, and get it done they did. Finally, let me say this. Today begins the formal process of accountability, where this defendant will begin his journey through the criminal justice system. And I pledge to you that the United States Attorney's Office will take this case across the finish line. Again, thank you to the incredible work of the FBI, to the Attorney General, and to our local partners as well. This is a job that I think was well done.
Thank you. President Trump's directive to all of us was to not only make America safe again, but DC, and to make it safe and beautiful. We could not have done that without our partnership with Mayor Bowser and Chief Smith. It is my honor to introduce Metropolitan Police Department
Holy
Chief
heck,
Smith.
I felt like I was getting attacked. All of a sudden, the doorbell rings like 3 times in succession. At the same time, somebody's pounding on the door. You can imagine I had protection when I answered the door. Oh,
Good
it was
afternoon,
just a
and thank you,
landlord. That's right. It was just a landlord coming by to have us sign an old document we already signed before.
everyone. I am Chief Pamela Smith, Chief of Police of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, and FBI Director Patel for having me here today. For nearly 5 years, the agencies standing here today have worked together under the leadership of the FBI to locate our suspect who is responsible for the 2 pipe bombs that were placed around our city. MPD members assigned to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force have supported this case from the beginning. That supports include looking, reviewing, and going through countless, probably thousands of hours of CCTV footage from around the DNC and RNC headquarters, and they followed up on hundreds and thousands of leads from members of our communities. What I will say today is that Washingtonians can rest easier today knowing that the suspect responsible for this act is now in custody. This morning's arrest is yet another reminder that committing any act with the intention of harming the residents and visitors of the District of Columbia will
Nice.
result in your arrest. The men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, the ATF, the U.S. Capitol Police, and certainly the prosecutors at our U.S. Attorney's Office will go to the furthest length. I heard somebody say to the end of the earth, but thank God we didn't have to go to the end of the earth today, that we were able to bring this subject into custody. I want to commend the men and women of the FBI and the members of the Metropolitan Police Department and all of the agencies who are standing behind me today on a job well done. I will turn it over now to Attorney General Bondi.
We're going to take some questions. Just remember, as I said in the beginning, this is ongoing. It's very active. The search warrants are still being executed. Many charges potentially to come. So just keep that in mind when asking your questions.
Jake, Fox News. So you said it had been nearly 5 years, we all know that, and that you said there have been no new evidence. So can you say anything about the evidence that actually did lead to this arrest? And then secondarily, you're talking about additional charges possibly. Can you say what those you might be considering, or terrorism charges, or what?
We can't discuss new charges, of course, yet, ongoing. But what I will say is this is why this was so incredibly important. More than any other case, this is in our nation's capital where this happened. And now, thanks to the FBI, we know that this defendant was living just miles away from here in Virginia. So as to the evidence in the case, I'm going to let Director Patel take that, but it's still very active and very ongoing.
He was giving me all your grief.
And as I stated earlier, as the general has already reiterated, our job is to provide full accountability in the court of law with Judge Pirro's team. And in order to do that, we have to preserve the chain of custody and evidentiary value. What I will say generally is that when
you ever see those little squishy dolls that the eyeballs pop out?
You go through 3 million lines of information, y'all can think about the amount of cell phone data that has to be ingested and triangulated and dumped and received. You also have to think of just sheer human ingenuity. We brought in a team of experts who were the best at what they do in their specific fields to reevaluate that evidence, to dive back in, and to not come back with a no for an answer until they had found the suspect. And when you develop evidence, you get a search warrant. And when you get a search warrant, you get an address. And when you get an address, you hit the house. And that's what we did.
Sadie, Wall Street Journal.
Hi there. So what can you tell us about this person's motivations and whether they were driven by politics or for any other reason why?
Right now it's ongoing. Again, we just executed the search warrant early this morning. It's ongoing, but America is safer, DC is safer because he's in custody.
Mary Margaret, Daily Wire.
Thank you so much. So any theory on why Kamala Harris has never mentioned coming within 20 feet of being assassinated, and any news on why her Secret Service team took so long to find this bomb at the DNC?
No, but what I will tell you is that evidence has been sitting there collecting dust. This wasn't a new tip. It wasn't some new evidence. It was the hard work of President Trump's administration. What? Deputy Director Bongino and Director Patel. I watched them from day one come in here and say, we are going to solve this crime. And they did, working hand in hand with U.S.
That wasn't the question, ma'am. The question was, how did a candidate for the United States of America presidency end up getting so close to being terminated? That was the question. Nothing to do with, oh, Donald Trump and I need to find a way to lick on his cankles.
Attorney Pirro and all of our great attorneys.
Pierre, ABC.
General Bondi, Director Patel, or Deputy Director Bongino, can you describe, was there a particular moment where the evidence is coming in and it's starting to look like progress is being made? What was the moment that you knew that you were on the road to solving the case?
Let me just go ahead and properly answer this question for her. The one that she was just asked. If she wanted to answer in the way that she did about it was put on the shelf and dust collecting and President Trump, yay, led the charge. In reality, it involved new forensics. This is from the FBI, by the way. It involved new forensics techniques and surveillance data that weren't available in 2021.
You want to take that?
Of course, this morning, what they're saying on the air is totally different. But that's what was just released this morning on the FBI. You know, this big, beautiful site right here. It was just released this morning that it was from new forensic techniques and surveillance data that weren't available in 2021. I'm reading it in your print. Now you come forth on this interview, on this press conference, and tell us lies. This I'm sick of.
I was smiling at you because I certainly remember the moment. Darren remembers it too. He said, "Are you sitting down?" Called me.
Whoa. What happened here? I guess I forgot to push the button. No? Hello? Hello, 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 hello. Right? Here, we'll, I'm just taking a moment. It's still having. If maybe I can find
Things pound the feet, down there on the street, things without feet, like me, may ever see me or what I see.
Came back good.
It fills my dreams when I sleep.
Big lady up and Bondi. tell.
A penguin that can fly. A penguin that can fly. That's where you will find me, up there with the birds that have wings. Up there I can see things not seen by ground things. Up there in the sky, there's a penguin flying high, always loving life, wondering how the ground things have survived. Never seen life. Down below me, the ground things scurry by. Now among the birds, flying wild and free, see things that no one else can see. High above, away
I'm
from
almost
the
there.
debris.
I'm working as fast as I can, man.
Below, the brown things scurry by, pounding their feet while I touch the sky, sliding, gliding without a care. They'll never know the wonders up here in the sky. I'm a penguin flying high, living life with no questions why. I wonder how the ground things carry on, never experiencing the beauty I draw. That can fly.
On these for a long time. There's interviews to be conducted.
I
The search
believe
warrant
I was
processing
on
has
this
been done.
guy when
So
the
we're at
other
early stages,
broadcast
so that's the
failed.
only reason I hesitate to tell you what the exact tip was. But yes, that was absolutely the moment, and it was due to the diligent and incredible work of a team in the Washington field office that came in and
I had
just
to play it
scoured
on
through
a
this
different
over
channel.
and over and over and over again.
In general, was it forensic? Was it a phone call? Was it something about a vehicle? Just in
I'd
general
rather,
terms?
we'll just leave it generally forensic evidence. Yeah, it's fair enough to say. Excuse me?
How long ago that was?
I'd rather not say because of the ongoing interview process, and I don't
Can I
want.
say one thing?
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to add something to tell you how thorough this team was. That moment that was kind of like the aha moment, that wasn't the end. This team continued to work and work and work to get every bit of evidence that we could get. We didn't stop at that moment. And that's a testament to the fact that the team wanted every possible piece of evidence that they could gather.
One more?
One more, Kelly O'Donnell and Lisa.
Thank you so much. Have you recovered the notable sneakers? Have you done surveillance of this suspect from that aha moment to when you exercised the search warrants today? And obviously this happened on January 5th into January 6th. How should the public look at this case
I
separate
think that
from
was
all
a
of the
relatively
cases related
good
to what
reset
transpired on January
recovery
6th
for
and the
the
president's
penguin
subsequent
there.
comments?
I'm going to let Director Patel take the evidence part. We have to be careful again. You've asked very good investigative questions, but this is ongoing, very active. But America should feel safer today. We say a pipe bomb. These are bombs. These were live, active bombs that were placed in Washington, D.C. Director.
Thank you. This shows you how much detail you and the American public have paid attention to this case. Of course, we analyzed everything that you're seeing on this poster board and information that you will see through the formal charging process and court process. But we want to let that evidence speak for itself because, again, we do not want to disrupt the accountability that we owe the American public. Yes, you heard about the cell phone tower data. Yes, you heard about, of course, we surveil individuals who we think we're going to blow up American citizens. But how and when we do it and why we do it is not something we're ever going to reveal unless the Department of Justice deems it fit at trial. So we appreciate your attention to detail and your hardcore investigative work, but you can just imagine some of those same skills were being utilized by this FBI, this Department of Justice, our partners, the ATF, and everybody across the board. And this is an interagency win for the American people.
Radar before.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you all. And one more thing, this is the best birthday present I think Deputy Director Bongino could ask for today. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
My energy bill dropped from $150 to $50 by doing this. My friends laughed at me when I spent $49 on a power saver device that could cut my energy bill in half. They thought I got scammed. But when I showed them my super low energy bill, they were blown away.
Check that out. This is our current energy bill. This is our last energy bill. And as you can see, over a 56% difference.
Hi guys, I just want to share a quick and simple technique that anyone can use to lower their energy consumption without changing their lifestyle. With this method, you can keep cooking, baking, gaming, running your dryer, wash at 90 degrees, and keep your heater running like you used to before. This method can essentially cut your energy bill in half by optimizing your home's energy grid. It lowers your energy bill by anywhere from 20% to 50% by bypassing the spikes in your home's current, which can lead to significant savings on your energy bills. It was discovered by Carl, an electrical engineer, during last winter, when, like many of you, he was hit with ridiculously high electricity bills. His energy provider was charging him over $165 a month. It was insane, so he decided to do something about it. As an engineer, Carl knew the power grid we're all connected to isn't perfect. Millions of tiny energy spikes are constantly flowing into your home's grid. These spikes send excess energy into your devices, causing them to use more energy than they actually need. This is bad news for your appliances and your energy bill. Think of it like a bucket that's overflowing 24/7 without you even knowing. It's a massive waste, right? And of course, energy providers don't bother telling you about it or try to fix the problem. So that's exactly what he set out to do. Carl figured that if he could use Nikola Tesla's theory to streamline the current flowing into his home's grid, it would lower.
Come in here and say, we are going to solve this crime. And they did, working hand in hand with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our great.
Apparently, they don't like me very much today. Went to step out to have a smoke, and look what happened. Anyway, so let's look at the new video footage that was available on the 11th, by the way, of last month. I think it was the 11th. Now, this new video, they keep saying there was no new evidence. I was going to be explaining that they were going to claim that there was no new evidence. It's kind of funny because that's exactly what they did in the press conference, is they claimed there was no new evidence, that they finally put the work to it. Nobody else was trying. Well, there's actually new video footage. So this is the old information they had. And I believe the first set of videos I have is the old footage they had. Oh, and these are the new updated, they've been enhanced video or images from video. And of course they put forth a $500,000 reward. So where were we? Now, this was all the new information that was released, I believe it was on the 11th. Please tell me that's playing. Before, we didn't know the information about the suspect's height. Now we know the information, or on the 11th, it was released the information of his height. But we did know about the gray hoodie and gloves. It was well aware that of the type of shoe, Air Nike Max. Now there was only like 2,000 of them sold, or 20,000 of them, or 25,000 of them sold, it says.
The first time the suspect is seen is at approximately 7:34 p.m. at the intersection of 1st Street and North Carolina Avenue Southeast. The person walks southwest on North Carolina Avenue, turns north on New Jersey Avenue, west on D Street, and then south on South Capitol Street. This footage of the suspect on South Capitol Street shows the person setting down their backpack, which is believed to contain one of the bombs at this time.
Man, this is an FBI
appears to put on a pair of glasses and scan the area, standing on tiptoes. Before picking up the backpack, turning around, and heading back the way they came on South Capitol Street. After reaching the corner of D Street, the suspect turns around again, and this time walks south all the way down South Capitol Street to a bench outside the Democratic National Committee headquarters building. Here we see the suspects sit on the bench for a few minutes. They do not place the bomb at this time. The suspect then walks east on Ivy Street, turns north on New Jersey Avenue, and then pauses near the corner of D Street before retracing their steps back to the DNC bench where the first bomb is placed. This previously unreleased footage shows the suspect sitting on the DNC bench before placing the first bomb. Here we see the suspect place the bomb at approximately 7:54 p.m. From there, the person walks north on South Capitol Street, east on D Street, south on New Jersey Avenue, northeast on North Carolina Avenue, when we lose video coverage of the suspect at approximately 8 p.m. 8 minutes later, at about 8:08 p.m., we pick the suspect back up on camera heading north on 2nd Street. The suspect walks west on C Street, enters an alley that leads to Rumsey Court, and then walks west on Rumsey Court. This footage shows the suspect pass between the RNC and the Capitol Hill Club, holding the backpack out to the side.
That was new footage.
The person continues between the RNC and the Capitol Hill Club, then continues north on 1st Street, east on C Street, back into the alley toward Rumsey Court, back onto Rumsey Court, where they placed the second pipe bomb at approximately 8:16 p.m. The suspect then turns back onto Rumsey Court, walking east until the person is last seen on camera at approximately 8:18 p.m., wearing the backpack on their shoulders. The bomb is believed to have been placed shortly before this video, based on how the suspect is carrying the backpack.
And here's him placing the bomb. I believe he also waved at a cop as he walked by. Let's see, where was the point? Oh, this is new video. This is also new video. This was only seen, what was it, 11 days ago or so. This is a section of the alley, and then here's where he goes by and he waves at a cop. I think it's kind of like, wow. This is because of the way he's carrying the bag at the moment. I believe that he is holding. He hasn't dropped the bombs off at that moment. I don't know why they played that video last. It's weird how they set that up. Anyway, so my ideas on this. I don't think it was a Republican Democrat thing. I really don't. And the reason why I say, I mean, it was, of course, because there was a device set at the DNC and a device set at the RNC. But because there was a device placed at both leading parties, it kind of leads me to the idea that this person had some other intention. I think he was trying to like form a personal coup d'etat. He was trying to get the DNC and the RNC to be blaming each other. That's really what I think he wanted. And it's odd that this administration is kind of falling right into that argument. I find that extremely strange. Oh, I like my new penguin logo, by the way, or background. I don't know why I like it. Well, of course, because it's penguins, but I don't like it that much. Anyway, so as I was closing off, like I said, I don't think I'm not sure of what the suspect was doing. I mean, I know what he was doing, but I don't know why he chose both. Now, the funny thing behind all of this is I remember arguing with guys, dude, how do you even know that's a chick? You can't tell that's a chick. You can't tell it's a dude. You can't tell male or female. What are you going to do? You're out here screaming, oh, it's a chick, it's a chick. What are you going to do when they bust a dude? And look what happened. It was a dude. Anyway, as always, you guys are awesome. Remember, you don't have to be wise. Just don't submit to stupid. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Things pound their feet down there on the street, things without feet, like me made out of singing. Oh, what I see, things that amaze me. It fills my dreams when I sleep.